So it's morning, and we're in Newburgh, New York. We're headed to Avantoberfest this morning up at Lime Rock, which is about 40 miles away. As you can see, last night we stayed at a Hyatt Place, and surprise to us, they had a charger. It's a charge point level 2. So we were looking at our Facebook comments last night. Before I go ahead and disconnect this thing, one of the concerns or one of the things people had raised was that the charging times we had spent yesterday, particularly the second stop in Newburgh, New York, which was it was limited to 50 kilowatts. It was Electrify America, but it was under maintenance. It was a brand new charging station, and it was limiting to 50 kilowatts, which put us there for not much of a charge. But anyway, it was about 45 minutes that we were there versus the first stop where we did pretty much from 20% on up to 100% in about 40 minutes. So that in mind, here's the thing about where we stayed last night. I booked this just because it was a Hyatt Place, and we've had good experiences with Hyatt Place, and it was kind of along the way. But when we looked at we rolled in last night, we found the charger. It was here. It was surprising. We got the EV spots, which is very nice, right up front. But then we looked on the PlugShare app, and there was nothing here. And it surprised me because I booked this hotel and we expected a charger. I did not look at the hotel's website. I was assuming PlugShare and some of the other apps that we use would show it, but they did not. So I'm gonna maybe we'll check the e-tron Navi to see if it showed it, and we'll post on that later.
This place is new.
Yeah, but so when we looked at this place on Google Maps, it was. Why don't you stay close to the mic just because we got a lot of highway noise. But when we looked at this place on the map last night, then when we had to create a stop on PlugShare, which I did.
Yep.
And put in all the charging information. 6.6 kilowatt hours. So about 2/3 of what I get in my house, more than my wife gets at her work. But this on Google Maps was a grass field.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what we ended up with there. And so had we known this was here and we've been able to charge overnight here, we were able to charge full from the little bit that we had used in about 3 hours. So by running, what we did last night was we went from Newburgh up to Hyde Park to an old historic diner up there called the Ever Ready for dinner, and then came back down south to where we are now. So practically back to Newburgh. So we burned up some mileage last night doing that. And had we skipped that second stop, though, we would have spent only the first 40-minute stop at the Walmart in Stroudsburg.
Yep.
And we'd have been very low coming in here last night, but the car charged while we slept. So it would have been full just like it is now without that second 45-minute stop.
Exactly. And it's with PlugShare and all the other apps, since this place was so new, it didn't show up, but people will find these and then
and we entered this one.
Yeah,
so
you entered this one in PlugShare, so now it's there.
Yeah. I think the trick is right now there's not we're going to check the e-tron's Navi to see if it's up to date and has this, but PlugShare is a pretty reliable one that we found, and it wasn't even listed on there. So now this being a charge point charger, I did go into the charge point app and did see it in there.
Okay.
But even there it showed it on a field, right? Like that it didn't list it as Hyatt Place. So this infrastructure is going in so quickly. That's the takeaway for me from last night is that like both stops we stopped at were brand new. Both were kind of under maintenance, not fully up and running yet. Mm-hmm. Like the 350 kilowatts for the Porsche Taycan and the Audi e-tron GT when it comes out, the J1 cars, those weren't even running, or they were, and they were at throttled power. So not like any of the Electrify America places we've been at in like Pennsylvania.
No, it's the first time I've seen that. So
right, Carlisle, Electrify America headquarters, of course, would be up and running full power. But like Carlisle, Pennsylvania, which is pretty rural along I-81, full power every time we've been there. So I think the fact that they just put the press release out, you were saying
yesterday,
yeah. And that included both of those stops, I think.
Yeah.
So that said, it's a matter of infrastructure. This stuff is going up again so fast, you don't even know it. Even the Electrify America people have said to me in the past, like, it is different literally from like week to week or even day to day. And that clearly is the point with ChargePoint and some of the others too. Now today we're headed up to Lime Rock, 40 miles. And then we looked at the route for the Avantoberfest guys. That's, I forget the full mileage. We're almost there at Bennington, Vermont, but there's a if we have to bug out, there's a charging station. We're going to be driving a little bit spirited behind some other Avant owners, so maybe using charge at a faster rate today. And of course, we got the Super 73 on the back, which is going to help our aerodynamics and efficiency. Although it didn't hurt it that bad yesterday.
It was interesting that it didn't do that.
I think our range with that on the back is about 190 something. So it cut about, from what I'm seeing, about 20 miles off range. But we're also driving fast and on highways, so that could have been part of it too. So anyway, we're going to I think we're going to stick with the group through lunch and then into Bennington, Vermont, where there's a charge point, and we'll hit that. If we have to bug out earlier, there's one on the Massachusetts Turnpike, but we have to head east like an exit, and because it's the Turnpike, we'll go up to the east exit and come back, and we'll hit the one headed back. Yep. And go there. But either one of those are 50 kilowatts, which means about a percentage point a minute, which is going to stop us probably by Bennington. We're, at 100, we're going to be at about 140 miles in and 190 miles range. So we're going to be pretty far down the charge, and so we're going to be stuck in Bennington, I think, for a while.
Yeah, so we'll just have lunch.
Probably about, it could be 60, 90 minutes. So we're gonna probably skip the Avantoberfest lunch and grab lunch in Bennington. Hopefully there's something nicer by that charge point. If not, Bill and I will be riding tandem on that Super 73. So
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. They were on a mini bike, weren't they? So all right, we're gonna just walk you through what we did here. One of the cool things about the charge point here is it's unrestricted and free. If you'll see on there that it says, which means we spent $20 at the first charging yesterday. At Electrify America, we spent another 10 at the second. No, this was all free because I get 2,000 miles about free from Audi on Electrify America networks from buying the e-tron. But even still, this it's pretty cheap. I'd have spent $70, $75 refueling the S5. On this, we spent $30, and it would have been $20 if we'd have known this was here and not stopped that second stop. So pretty affordable, and we'll be full up this morning, and should have enough to get through the rest of the day. We'll see if the charge point up in Bennington charges or not, but at 50 kilowatts, it's going to be cheaper than the Electrify America stuff. You pay by the speed at which you're charging, not the actual units. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to disconnect here. With the e-tron, dude, this button is pretty subtle. A lot of people miss it. We missed it the first time we used an e-tron.
We did.
So it's just this little black piece of trim that matches up with the trim here with the e-tron badge on it. The European cars have it on both sides of the car. We only have it on the left side for some reason, but you just push that button, give it a couple seconds to disconnect. I see the light came on top, so just pull that out. Now, if this were Electrify America, it would also be using... let it go. If this were Electrify America, one of the high, 150 kilowatt chargers, you would also be putting the unit fully in there. But for what we had last night, which was a level 2 low charge, that's that. So pretty neat system. And we'll post more today we'll probably Facebook Live from Avantoberfest, just to show some of the other cars. I think we'll be the only e-tron, so we'll probably post that to the Audi Club page directly. And we'll share it all to the Audi Club group. And then the Bennington. So we'll post probably on e-tron Connect again later this afternoon from Bennington, probably around lunchtime or late lunchtime. So see you guys then.
Thanks, guys.